I invite you to gently close your eyes. Take in a deep, deep healing breath, a sacred and holy breath. I call forth the infilling of the divine light of the Christ. I call forth a perfect circle of light and love to surround you. I call forth the holy healing breath of God to breathe within you. And I call forth the power of the Holy Spirit to move through you now. To move the energy into your heart of hearts. To bathe your heart in the power of love. And to pour forth from your heart like a river of healing light, touching each and every cell, renewing, restoring, and regenerating as it moves through you and around you in a halo of healing light. Immersed in the Christ energy, bathed in love. Imagine yourself now walking through a sweet and beautiful sanctuary within your heart of hearts. It's a beautiful sunny day, and all is well as you walk through your sanctuary. And everywhere you look, there are magnificent angels who greet you and bless you on the path. And all of nature bows at your feet to honor who you are. And you notice a beautiful glowing light that is approaching you on the path. And your heart is filled with a sense of awe and wonder of what awaits you as the light comes closer and closer. And out of the light steps the beloved Mother and the Christ within your heart. And they walk right up to you and look into your eyes. You can feel their warmth and their loving blessings. And as you look back into their eyes, you notice the reflection in their eyes is that of you. And you are reminded that there is no separation, and this comforts you. And the beloved Mother embraces you and holds you dearly, heart to heart. Tells you that you are precious and loved, that she is always with you, and she places a blue rose upon your heart to remind you of her loving presence in your life. And this comforts you. And the Christ reaches out with those powerful healing hands and touches your heart, igniting your cells in the sweetness and power of the Holy Spirit. And that Spirit soars through you like a river of healing light, renewing, restoring, and regenerating. And you allow yourself to receive this blessing. And the angels gather all around you as they did the day that you were born and celebrate who you are on your sacred journey. And this lifts you up and blesses you. And the beloved Mother and the Christ take your hands and walk the path with you, that you may know you are never, ever alone. And soon you come to a beautiful pool of crystal clear healing water. And the Christ walks you into the healing waters as the angels gather all around you. And the waters are warm to the touch, so you sit down in the healing waters. And the Christ reaches down and touches the water and blesses your head and your heart, bringing your mind and spirit into perfect harmony. And the angels gather the healing waters and gently pour them over your head, over your being, washing away all of your fears and worries. You feel so loved, so blessed. And the angels lift you up into the heavens. And they wrap their wings around you and hold you dearly, heart to heart. And they tell you that you are precious and loved, that they are always with you every step of the way. They tell you that your loving thoughts, your holy visions are powerful healing medicine upon our planet and are so much needed at this time. And they whisper words of blessing into your ears and lightly stroke your hair, offering you that loving, angelic healing touch. You allow yourself to receive this blessing. And every cell is filled with love and peace and harmony. And the angels gently bring you back down to Mother Earth, bringing heaven to earth on your sacred journey. And the beloved Mother and the Christ take your hands once again and walk you back along the path. And you know that you have come home, for home is where God lives, and God is always home. Now in the silence, think of a beloved in your life that might be in need of your loving thoughts, your holy visions, and send them a blessing heart to heart, knowing that all blessings of the heart are indeed received in love. So do that now in the silence. Take a deep, deep God breath, knowing that you have reached out and touched another's heart and made an important difference in their lives. And find yourself walking back into this room, feeling peaceful and refreshed and at peace with all that is. And slowly begin to open your eyes, coming back more and more now. And take note of how you're feeling. Take note of the energy that is moving through you and around you. Take note that this room is filled with a heavenly presence, and that presence is with you every step of the way, and all is well. May God bless you on your journey, and may it indeed be one of peace every step of the way. Amen. Our women and our children. Now everybody just take a deep, deep breath. And this time, as you breathe, take note that this is the God breath. And the God breath infills us with life force energy. It strengthens us. It helps to keep us centered in our hearts. How many of you have maybe felt a little stress in the last 6 months or so? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how many of you have taken note that there's a lot going on the planet right now? The planet is speaking to us. It's really important, maybe more than ever before, that we stay centered in our hearts, which is one of the most important things we come to learn on this planet. And it's actually a requirement in order to awaken. Staying in the heart, because that's where love lives. There's a lot of judgment going on the planet. There's a lot of stress going on. There's a lot of fear going on. But our mission, if we choose to accept it, is in the midst of all this, in the midst of the chaos, our job is to stay centered in the heart. And we are really, on some levels, privileged to be a part of unity. Because unity really emphasizes the heart and how important that is, how important love is, because love is the healer no matter what's going on. Love is the healer. And so our words, thoughts, actions, interactions make all the difference in the world in the level of stress that we have. Our perception of what's happening can cause us to have stress. But it's not so much the circumstance that causes the stress. It's what we tell ourselves about the circumstance that causes stress. You can have one circumstance and 100 different people perceive that circumstance, and there could be 100 different actions or reactions to it, depending on what they tell themselves about that circumstance. So what does this say? What does this mean? Our thoughts contribute greatly to creating our reality. And we can create a peaceful, loving, heart-centered reality, or we can create a fear survival-based reality. It's our choice in every situation. We come here to love and support and welcome and encourage and help each other, to be of service. That's why we come here. And to learn and to grow and hopefully in some lifetime awaken. We can't do that if we're in chaos. We can't do that if we're living in our egos. We can't do that if we're stressed out and in judgment of everything that's going on. So the most important thing that we can do on this planet is be in our heart as much as possible every single day, no matter what's going on. Now that's not an easy task. It's not easy at all. But our stress is directly related to our thought process. And I want to tell you a little story. A long time ago in the early 80s, I was going to teach my first class at Daytona Beach Community College. And I was all excited about that. It was my very first college class that I taught. And the class was about stress management. So I had all my notes, and I was well prepared, and I was ready to go. I was real excited about doing that. I brought everything in, all my papers, my books, everything. I put them down, and I looked at the people, and they were all looking at me, waiting for these words of wisdom. I opened my mouth, and nothing came out. What is going on? I tried again. I opened my mouth again to speak. Nothing came out. I started getting embarrassed. I started sweating. And I was thinking, what is wrong with me? And people started looking at me kind of funny, like. And I thought, I've spent all this time preparing to teach stress management class, and I was getting really stressed really fast because I couldn't speak. I don't know why. The harder I tried, the redder I got, the more I started sweating, and then the ego kicked in really big time and started saying all kinds of interesting things to me. Like, what is wrong with you, David? Why can't you talk to these people? Every egoic thought you can imagine came into my mind at that time. And I didn't know what to do. And I got more and more embarrassed. But I made a choice then in that moment that actually changed my life. I simply said to myself, Holy Spirit, please help me. That's all I said. 3 hours later, I finished the class, never looked at one of my notes. Don't really even remember what I said, but everybody seemed to be pretty happy about it. And I learned something that day. That Holy Spirit, Divine Spirit of God, the most powerful energy in the universe, can indeed help us in any situation, especially if we're feeling stress. I turned it over. That was in 1980. I have never once, not once, since 1980, used another note in one of my talks. Never once. And I've spoken all over the country. Why? Because I trust Holy Spirit. I trust Spirit will speak through me. I trust that I am held in the arms of love. I trust that the divine will take care of things through me, through my heart. so I not only don't use notes, but any time that I get stressed now, I call on Holy Spirit, no matter what the situation is. I call on Holy Spirit to help me out. And the first thing that happened, that the Holy Spirit does, is it takes the energy out of the ego, out of the fear and worry, into the heart. And as soon as that happens, I feel calm and peaceful and centered again. Very different than when we're feeling stressed, because stress can raise the blood pressure, can cause emotional or psychological distress or discomfort. It can lower the mood or cause depression or anxiety. And there's a lot of that going on the planet right now. Because a lot of people are in reaction, in their ego. What does that do? It increases the blood pressure. It clouds our perception and understanding of different situations. It moves us out of our heart energy, out of the love energy, into fear energy. And it also instantaneously weakens our being. Stress instantaneously weakens our being. And I'm going to show you in a demonstration how that works. So, I need a volunteer to do some kinesiology with. Who would like to volunteer? Come on up. We're going to do two different tests right here to show you how quickly food or thoughts can affect the well-being. Okay, I have two things here. One is sugar. I'm going to have her just touch a little bit of sugar and put her in her tongue, and we're going to see if it strengthens or weakens her. But before we do that, we're going to just test her energy with a little kinesiology. So put one arm up. I want you to look forward but eyes down. Okay? Now, if the subconscious mind believes something is true, it's going to send a strong signal to her arm. Yes, she can. When I ask her a question, or when she eats some food. If the subconscious believes that the food is good for her, it's going to send a strong signal to her arm. When I say be strong, it won't be able to push her down. If the subconscious believes something's false, or the food is not good for her, it's going to send a strong weakness signal to her arm, and she won't be able to hold me up. So let's just test that. But I'm going to test that with just one little sample of how the subconscious works. I want you to look forward but eyes down. When I say be strong, you hold me up, but don't push up or tense up, okay? I want you to state your full name out loud.
Marlene Crosnell.
Be strong. I can't push her down. I want you to state a false name, any false name at all.
Sandra Brown.
Be strong. That's how it works. Okay, now we're going to test this. Here's some refined white sugar. So put a little bit on your finger and just put it on your tongue. All right? When I say be strong, hold me up. Look down, be strong. Interesting.
More sugar.
Now, we're going to try some sprouts. Just touch. Sprouts, alfalfa sprouts. Okay? When I say be strong, hold me up. Be strong. Can't budge her. Now, just to prove something again, just try this again. Just a touch of sugar.
Holy Spirit, help me. I need some water.
Just touch it. Touch this. All right, you just touch just a tiny bit. When I say be strong, hold me up. Ready? Be strong. Okay, so that's just one sample of food. Food and or drink. How quickly it can strengthen or weaken the body.
food that is not good for us creates instantaneously stress on the body and weakens it. Now we're going to do another sample, okay? I want you to, we're going to do just thought processes. I want you to think of something in the last week or two that was a little difficult for you. Nothing terribly traumatic, but something that was difficult. I want you to go back to that circumstance. I want you to think about the circumstance and feel what was going on with you. And just give us a word or two to describe the difficulty, and we're going to see if it affects you.
Car, trouble with the car.
Okay, look down, be strong. Okay, just thinking of that weakened her. Now we're going to go back and see if we can do something about that. I want you to go back to that same circumstance again, when you're there feeling the feelings that you were feeling about the car, and then I want you to surround yourself in a heart blessing, a kind word, a loving thought, an embrace of energy in the midst of that circumstance. And give us a word or two to describe the blessing. But first go back to the circumstance, into the difficulty, and then surround yourself in a blessing. Give us a word or two to describe the blessing.
Peace, peaceful.
Okay. Eyes open and down. Be strong. Can't budge you. Go back to the difficulty. Don't even say anything when you're there. Just nod your head. Be strong. Go back to the difficulty. Surround yourself in a heart blessing. Eyes open and down. Surround yourself in a heart blessing. When you're in the blessing, don't say anything. Just nod your head. Be strong. Great. Thanks. Okay. So think about this. You don't have to say anything. You can just think the thought and instantaneously weaken yourself. Instantaneously. So I want you to understand that the more that we're in fear, the more that we're in stress, the more we are weakening our immunological system, which can result in getting sick. We make ourselves sick with our own thoughts. We can also make ourselves well with our own thoughts. And if you add in calling the Holy Spirit to help bless you and help you be well and stay in that energy of well-being in the heart, you can actually contribute to your own healing. Now, you've heard my story. Yes?
I'm going to say when you look at disease, dis-ease.
Right. You got it. Exactly.
Really is
A lot of you guys have heard my story, but I'm going to tell it again when I got a condition. I had a trauma in the side of my head, the right side of my head, and it resulted in having excruciating pain. And sometimes the pain got so bad that it was like a burning, searing pain. It felt like a hot poker being stuck in my head, and the burning was so intense that it completely incapacitated myself. This was due to a head trauma. After about a week of this, I couldn't stand it any longer, so I went to my doctor, and I told him what was going on. He examined me, and he said, I think I know what this is, but I don't want to label it. I want to send you to a specialist. So he sent me to a neurologist. And whenever I had one of these episodes, my body would just tremble uncontrollably, and the pain would be so excruciating I couldn't function. So my wife, Margaret, had to drive me to the neurologist. And we went in there, and I talked to him for a while and told him what was going on. He examined me, and he said, you have a condition called trigeminal neuralgia. He said, this is a medically incurable condition. It stems from, we have trigeminal nerve on either side of our head. The nerve endings stem out from that trigeminal nerve throughout your head and your neck on that side of the head. Mine was on the right side. He said, this sometimes is called the suicide condition. Because people cannot stand the intense burning pain and they kill themselves. And then he said, so you're probably going to be in pain the rest of your life, so you might as well just get used to it. That energy was so intense, so powerful, it literally hit me in the chest, knocked me up against the wall. I turned white as a ghost. I looked at Margaret. She was white too. She was just freaked out about it. My whole life flashed before my eyes. I was feeling intense stress at that moment because I'd moved into major fear. But I paused. And I called Holy Spirit to move the energy out of my fear into my heart. And these are the words that came out of my mouth, and I know it was Holy Spirit speaking. How dare you say that to me? I do not believe what you're saying. I will find the cure for this, and you are fired as my doctor.
Right on.
I took my wife's hands, and we walked out of there. 2 days later, I was driving in Myrtle Beach, Highway 17 in the left lane. The only thing that could help me when I had one of those episodes of burning, searing pain was ice, and it would just help me enough to numb it a little bit so I could actually function. So everywhere I went, I had to have a bucket of ice with me. I had my ice in the car. I was driving in the left lane about 60 miles an hour on 17, and I had an episode. That extreme, excruciating, burning, searing pain just welled up in my head, and I started shaking uncontrollably while I was driving. My eyes teared up. I could not see in the left lane, 60 miles an hour. I thought, this is it. This is where it ends. So I said, God, please get me over to the right lane and then the shoulder without hitting anybody. Somehow, to this day, I don't know how I did it because I could not see. I managed to get in the right lane and to the shoulder without hitting anyone. I put the car in park. I grabbed the ice, put it on my head like this, and I remember I looked up. And I said, God, if there's anything out there, anywhere that can help me with this, please let me know. And I swear to God, within 10 seconds of saying that, there was an announcement on the radio. Never heard it before, never heard it after. And the announcer said, there is a new clinic, medical clinic in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, that is treating severe nerve conditions with a hot laser that was invented by a medical doctor and an engineer in Myrtle Beach. The one of a kind, no other place in the world has this. And they've just started this clinic just recently. And they started naming all of the conditions that they were working with. And then there was a pause. Very Hollywood-like. And they said in the last condition that they're working with, that they're having great success, is called trigeminal neuralgia. I confess to you that I thought God was talking to me through the radio.
And he was.
And then they gave the phone number. I whipped out my cell phone. I called the number right then and there, and the very first miracle happened for me. A medical doctor answered the phone. That's a good sign. And I told him what was going on. He was a super nice guy. And he said, you come here right now. We're going to take care of this for you. I zipped there as fast as I could with ice on my head like this. I got there, they started working with me, and I'm here to tell you I'm 100% cured from that. 100% cured. Now, why did that happen? Why did that happen? Because I did not succumb to that extreme stress that I was on. I didn't succumb to it. I called on the Holy Spirit to help me out. And God said, so be it. And just like that, it happened. In an instant. In the blinking of an eye. Think about this. There's a lot of stress going on, guys. And we're feeling it. Because others' thoughts, words, and actions affect our well-being too. And we can affect others with our words, thoughts, and actions. So our job is to stay in the heart through the power of divine spirit, no matter what's going on. Meditation is one of the most important things that we can do right now because it keeps us in our heart. It keeps us in a peaceful place when there's chaos everywhere else. That way we can be contributors to the solution of what's going on instead of contributors to the problem by being afraid and stressed out.
It's not a hard thing. Meditation is wonderful. It lowers your blood pressure. It lowers anxiety. It lowers depression. It makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel psychologically connected with all that is. It enhances our spirituality. It improves our mood. It does so many wonderful things for us. And you can start off with whatever period of time you want to start off with. You can listen to a CD, you can listen to music, you can listen to, you can do a mantra. You can create your own mantra. I started off in the 70s with TM. And it was amazing the effects that it had on me. And this afternoon we're going to do some really powerful, I'm going to teach some different means of meditation. I'm going to take you on a wonderful guided healing meditation where you can learn how to actually give yourself positive healing energy. We're going to do some really powerful things to relieve the stress and the worry in your life. This is an important time that we're living in. Divine is knocking on our door. We're at a crossroads. We can make a choice. We can go into the fear, into the stress and the upset, which contributes to the difficulty, or we can go into the holiness no matter what it looks like. And meditation will help significantly in being in that peaceful place. Because you won't be reactive to the difficulties that are going on when you're in that peaceful place in your heart. And that's huge. That's huge. Think about that. Think about what is causing you stress in your life. What is causing you to be in fear or worry or upset or whatever it is. And know that there's something you can do about it. And it's not hard. And the benefits are huge. The benefits are huge. And when you add Holy Spirit to all that, miracles happen. They happen. So this afternoon, 1:30 to 4, right here, we're going to learn meditation, relaxation. We're going to have some healing experiences. We're going to learn different stress-relieving techniques. It's going to be really powerful. And the most important thing that it will do for you is keep you in the peace of your heart, in the energy of love. That's the solution for everything. Right after the talk, I'll be down with my CDs and my books, and if you want to talk to me a little bit more about the stresses in your life or what we're going to do this afternoon, please come and join me. Thank you. God bless you.
All right, thank you so much, David Hiller. Margaret just doesn't know what she missed, does she?